Going for two, kickers are extra, I give them the boot. Ooh, going for two, sit back, relax while I grab me a brew. Ooh, now I'm reclining while putting my time and I'm ready to go. My spine is aligning and much my lineups, my bank account grow. I am so rich, but knowledge is all that I'm leaving it with. Ooh, listen to this, multiple options, how far can I get? Ooh, DFS Dynasty redraft tonight, I'm not finishing last. I'm finishing past any and all, I am looking to last. What else? This spot is popping and I am so locked in and only opening the door when it is opportunity knocking. And all of these spots keep on talking and talking. So what are we talking? What kind of alignment? And running it deep, even players forgotten or came from the bottom or hitting that topping. And this spot is popping, yeah, this spot is popping. And woo! This is the armchair, yeah. Put up your arms, yeah. Sound the alarm, yeah, yeah, yeah. Woo!
What is going on, guys, and welcome to episode 320 of the Armchair Fantasy Show. I am your host, of course, Jeff Lambert. You can follow me on Twitter at JeffLambert77. Of course, we are live usually on Wednesday nights. Today is a special Sunday night edition. We are on Facebook Live, Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch, and of course, syndicated on all major podcast networks. If you're currently watching us on Twitter, we cannot see your comments in the chat roll, so go find us on YouTube. It is youtube.com/@GoingFor2Live. And then you can chat in the roll there. We have a special show tonight. Of course, we're doing our 8th annual NFL first round mock draft. This was one of the first shows that we ever did way back when it was still only audio. And I was getting my guests on my speakerphone on my actual mobile phone instead of doing it all fancy like we are now. So this is the 8th time we've done this one. Let's go ahead and meet the panel for tonight. We got an awesome panel as usual. First up, we got Courtney. She's a writer at goingfor2.com, and you can follow her at LoveTractor3. What's up, Courtney?
What's up, guys? Thanks for having me, Jeff.
Absolutely. Joining us for the first time, she claims to not be an analyst, but you wouldn't know it from her Twitter feed. That is Cassie, and you can follow her at the NFL, and that's ELLE. What's up, Cassie?
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. And then we tried a couple times to get you on the show, so it's good to finally get you on the show. Next up, we have Skip Newton. He's the co-host of the Debbie Big Board podcast. You can follow him on Twitter at SkipNewton31. What's up, Skip?
Not much, man. Great to be here. Glad to be on the show again.
Absolutely. And next up, we have, of course, my co-host of this show on the Wednesday night show. And he's also on the Dynasty Big Board. You can follow him at Foss534. What's up, Ryan?
Glad to be here. Glad to be drafting as usual.
Absolutely. Next up, we have the only panel member that has been part of all 8 of these draft shows, and he's also 1/3 of the Armchair DFS show during the season. Of course, that is Tim Strobel, and you can follow him at Keto DFS. What's up, Tim?
Jeff, man, I look forward to this show all year long. I always say it's my favorite show. The NFL draft season is, it's where teams are made, and I can't wait to break it down with y'all tonight.
Absolutely. And last but not least, the man they call G, but all he does is drop Fs, Mr. Gerson McGuire. The other third of the Armchair DFS show, and you can follow him at Fantasy G DFS. What's up, G?
That stands for fact, okay? Get it straight. Fact.
You're always dropping facts.
The real question is, how long did it take you to comprise that joke?
I've been thinking about it for like 3 weeks.
Hey, no, man, I love this show. I'm excited, man. I get so excited for the NFL draft. I usually travel for the NFL draft, but this year circumstances didn't allow me to. But it's Christmas. It's Christmas for all of our teams. So let's go.
Absolutely. All right. So basically what we're going to do tonight, guys, we're going to go through the first round of the NFL draft. And each one of these people have a spot in the draft. And we'll just rotate through them as we go through. But before we do that, let's pay some bills. Tonight's show is brought to you, as always, by Underdog Fantasy. Check out their industry-leading best ball leagues with huge tournaments, private leagues, and pick'ems for every major sport. Sign up with our promo code GF2 and get a deposit match up to $100. It's as simple as that. Sign up, use promo code GF2, and you can start drafting your best ball teams today. And we're going to kick it off right here at the 101 at the top. Courtney, you got the 101 here. The Panthers are on the clock.
Look,
what do you got?
Look, going back and forth on this, which I'm sure the Panthers have been as well. I know that everyone thinks that I'm going to go with Mr. Bryce Young, but I'm not. I am drafting CJ Stroud, Ohio State quarterback. Let's go.
All right, good stuff. Is there a reason that you picked Stroud over Bryce Young?
Look, I'm from the SEC, and I have been watching Bryce for years, and I would turn in and watch Stroud play at Ohio State, and I just like him better. I think that he's the better centerpiece for the Panthers offense moving forward. I think he is – we all know that he's bigger, but, he's, in my opinion, more accurate, and I just think that he would be the better centerpiece for the Panthers to move forward. I just do. I know everybody's going to disagree with me, but I do.
No, I mean, I like it. I thought Stroud was the pick originally, and then we've heard all these rumors coming out recently that it's going to be Bryce Young. But originally, when they first made that move up, I thought for sure it was going to be C.J. Stroud. So it's definitely possible that they can change their mind before the draft happens. All right, with the 102, and we are up at Houston here. And Cassie, it's your pick.
Well, I did not see that coming. I thought that you would definitely take Bryce, so I had been planning to go with somebody else all week. But now that Bryce is available, I think that the Texans are going to go with him since he was their first choice anyway.
Yeah, that's a great call because, I mean, them, not having to move up into the first pick. And then, of course, they had that game that they won at the end of last year that gave them the 102. So they still get the pick that they want here at the 102. So I'm sure they'd be excited to get this to happen as well.
Yeah, I think that if Bryce wasn't available, they would probably still want a quarterback, but try and trade down or take somebody else with that 102. So we're going to go with Bryce here.
All right, good stuff. All right, 103 on the clock, Tim.
So this pick is probably the highest likelihood to be traded. But in the event that the Arizona Cardinals do stick with this pick, they're going to go with Will Anderson Jr., edge rusher out of Alabama. He's considered by many to be the best prospect in the draft, two-time unanimous All-American, two-time SEC Defensive Player of the Year, absolutely explosive first-step pass rusher, was known as the Terminator because of his motor and competitive drive. And he was also a two-time team captain, which was a big deal for Nick Saban. Only a few players have ever been named that.
Oh, good stuff. Good stuff. So you think that they're going to try to trade back, you think, Tim, during the draft?
Oh, yeah, 100%. I think that there's a good chance that somebody's moving up for a quarterback. And if for whatever reason the first two picks don't play out that way, somebody will be moving up to get one of those two guys.
Yeah, agreed. All right, we're at the 104, the Colts. And Gerson, you are on the clock.
I mean, I think we can all say that during the draft process, the biggest loser has been and are the Colts. I mean, they didn't trade up. They should have traded up. I mean, they have a win now team if they could, have a, franchise quarterback. And they're going to go with a franchise quarterback right here. I don't think he's necessarily the franchise quarterback, but it will be Will Levis. They'll be drafting Will Levis because his prototype size, 6'4", 229, and he can pass the ball pretty well. I know his talent wasn't all that great down at Kentucky, but when you have Michael Pittman, Jelani Wood, Jonathan Taylor, and then the new coaching system and everything there, I think they can mold him in there. And I believe Gardner Minshew is there now, right?
Yep, he's the backup, or he will be the backup, I guess, once they get a quarterback in
the starter.
I wouldn't be shocked if Gardner Minshew starts and then they pivot to Will Levis. But give me Will Levis to the Colts.
All right, you surprised me there. I was actually getting ready to highlight Anthony Richardson. So you think it's Levis over Richardson here?
Yeah, I think it's just more it's a pass offense, like they need to change. I mean, Jonathan Taylor got beat up last year. He got hurt. You can run the ball so much until, you got to be efficiently pass the ball too. And Anthony Richardson is not ready for a pro pass offense. He's a hell of an athlete, but he's not a hell of a passer. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, good call. All right, we are up at the Seattle Seahawks. And Ryan, you were on the clock.
That pick really threw me off because I had it all set. If that happened in real life on the Seahawks, I'm sprinting to trade this pick for somebody to move up for Anthony Richardson. I'm staying with the plan, man. Gino, I know he has a very cuttable salary this year, but this team made the playoffs last year, and you have a big, long, super athletic edge defender in Tyree Wilson there has all the God-given talent. A comment I got all God-given talent to just shine in that defense, who loves those big-time defenders like that, especially on the edge. I think he could be a big part of that team and help get them over the hump.
I like it. So if you had Anthony Richardson go in the last pick here, you think that they would be trading out of this pick, or do you think?
I don't know. I think there's a good chance they take Richardson, but personally, I think they won enough games they shouldn't have to. Gotcha. But yeah, if they think they can trade him, they would. Or if they didn't want him, they should. I should say.
Good deal. All right. Moving to the 106. And Skip, you were up in the Detroit Lions. Where are you going here?
The Lions are in a great spot here with 2 picks out of the first 18. And the thing that's holding them back is defense. And while Richardson is awfully tempting, I'm going to stick with my plan and go with Devin Witherspoon, the quarterback out of Illinois. He's just got elite agility, instincts, and cover skills. And it makes him my cornerback one. I think that's where Detroit's going to go. That defense needs to improve. And I see this as another draft where Detroit's going to make some really solid decisions.
Good call. I did not see cornerback going there, but I like it.
He fits that team, like personality-wise, too.
I think Courtney's a little upset that you just sniped her.
Yes!
All right, Courtney, you're going to be up at the next pick here for the Las Vegas Raiders.
Look, you just sniped me. That's fine. We have more choices here on the board. So they need to the Raiders need to protect Garoppolo, right? We need to be able to get the ball out there. And Garoppolo's old. He's not running and getting the ball out there. He needs to be protected in the pocket. So since I just got sniped, I'm going to go with Paris Johnson Jr., offensive tackle out of Ohio State. I'm just racking up the Ohio State players, y'all. Look, he's able to if he's able to compete in the pocket, he needs help. They need help there. So, I mean, Derek Carr got sacked a ton last year, so let's get him some help on the line. So there we go.
We're going to have to change you to Big Ten Courtney now.
Ew. Nope.
Gerson, real quick before we get to the next pick here, I'm curious to your thoughts on that because I know you're a Raiders fan. So what are your thoughts if they go offensive tackle here at the 107?
I don't really give a crap about Jimmy G. I hope he actually gets murder in the pocket and then we can get moved on.
But you have everything else you need right now, right? You need help. You need line help, and so you're not going to draft a wide receiver right here. You're not going to,
I don't mind the pick. I love Paris Johnson Jr. He's probably the biggest offensive tackle in this draft, just a monster overall. But the thing to me is I want cornerback. I really want Christian Gonzalez or Devin Witherspoon. Those are the 2 guys I want. The Raiders need help badly in the secondary. We're awful on defense. I know a lot of people put blame on Derek Carr, but if you really look at it, he put up points. We just couldn't stop getting points scored on us. That was a problem.
Yep, agreed. All right, we are up at the 8th pick here in the Atlanta Falcons. And Cassie, this is your pick here. Falcons, where are they going?
So what I think they need is not what I'm going to draft. I think that with the 8th pick in the draft, they are going to pick Bijan Robinson. I feel like they took Kyle Pitts in the top 10 2 years ago. They took Drake London in the top 10 last year. I feel like they are going to get greedy and they're going to want to have Bijan here. That's not what I think they need. I think they need an edge, but I'm going to go with Bijan for fun.
Nice. I think you just sniped a bunch of people here because they all wanted Bijan.
I love that pick.
Yeah, that's a good pick. So let me ask you, Tim, since you chimed in there, NFL aside, talking fantasy here, since we are fantasy people, what do you think of Bijan to the Falcons? Do you think that's a good fit?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they are looking, well, first of all, they're looking for somebody to take over that team because unfortunately, Kyle Pitts has not really been as advertised. I guess we'll see another year in the system. But yeah, this guy is draft him and start him day one kind of player. he's going to be absolutely outstanding at any team he goes to. But the Falcons can build their identity around him at running back.
Yeah,
which is what I think they'll do if they do that.
All right, we are moving right along here. We're at the 109. It is the Chicago Bears, and Tim, this is your pick here.
All right, so I must fight my instincts as a Packer fan to do the right thing here. But if I'm Ryan Poles, I am running to the front and handing in the card for Jalen Carter, defensive tackle out of Georgia. This guy was an All-American, rare combination of body control, quickness, and power. Many say that he could end up being the best prospect in this draft. He'll play 3 technique in that system. Matt Eberflus's system could end up being a top 10 defensive tackle in the league with the right training. So I think this is a steal for them at 9.
Yeah, that's a good call. I like that pick a lot. I would have thought, potentially offense there, but I think you're right. If Carter is there on the clock at 109, I think they definitely would go that route.
Yeah, they had him for a top 30 visit, and I've heard they've had multiple conversations with him throughout the process.
Good stuff. All right, we're at the 110. And it is the Philadelphia Eagles. And Gersten, this is your pick here.
Just to clarify, the top 2 picks that I would have wanted the Eagles to take right there got sniped, Bijan and Jalen Carter. So thanks a lot, Tim and Cassie. I thought we were cool, but I guess not. This is a hard one.
The best show.
This is a hard one, but I'm gonna go the Howie Roseman, the Eagle way. I think they're gonna go offensive lineman on this one, and they're gonna their offensive line is one of the best in the NFL. But one other thing is the rich get richer, and they're gonna go with what's his name?
Broderick Jones.
Yeah, is that his name?
From who are you talking about?
Broderick Jones from Georgia.
Yeah.
They're gonna go with Broderick Jones from Georgia, the offensive lineman. They're just gonna protect their asset. They're gonna protect Jalen Hurts. I mean, once you pay a guy $250 million, you don't want him to go down, So just load that up. And let's be honest here, their offensive line is getting a little older. Jason Kelsey's probably gonna retire sooner or later. Lane Johnson. I mean, they have great interior offensive linemen, but Broderick Jones is a great ad for this Philadelphia Eagles. But if Bijan and Jalen Carter were there, I'd draft both of them.
Yeah, that's a good call. Yeah, Bijan with the Eagles would be nice. That's for sure. All right, we're at the 111, the Titans. Ryan, you got the Titans.
Anthony Richardson. They don't want Tannehill there. He's garbage. The zone read option with a like Eric Henry is a godsend for fantasy football. He gives that offense a new life. They like that tough, hard-nosed football where they dominate the ground game. He's perfect for that. He doesn't have much pressure throwing, so he can get used to the NFL more in the speed of it with limited starts in college. It's a great situation for him.
Good stuff. I'm having a hard time locating. Oh, there he is, number 39. All right, let me get him highlighted and put in. Yeah, I like that call a lot. I've seen a lot of mocks having Will Levis here, but with Richardson on the board as well. Let me ask you, Ryan.
That's who I would have traded up to with my Seattle pick. I would try to trade with Titans there.
Gotcha. So let me ask you, if Will Levis and Richardson happen to be on the board here, which one of those 2 guys do you prefer?
You're asking me that?
Yes.
That's easy.
Easy. Richardson. Duh.
Mm-hmm.
Like, have we spoken before?
Well, I mean, I know you hate him for fantasy purposes. I didn't know how much you hated him for NFL.
Oh, he hates him.
Oh, I think he stinks. I think he's a terrible decision maker. I think his passes fly over the heads of people. His accuracy's off. There's a lot I don't like.
Yeah, and he can't read the defense to save his life. He seems to take a sack every other time he drops back, it seems.
Dude, he gets sacked too much. Toughness is cool, and I get that. I respect that. But, dude, you need some awareness.
Yeah. All right, we are up to the 112. And Skip, you have the Houston Texans, who are on the clock again for the second time in this draft already.
Yeah, Cassie made a great pick at number 2 when Houston took Bryce Young. And a great way to help your rookie quarterback is to put a good wide receiver with him. And this one is an easy one. Jaxon Smith-Njigba out of Ohio State. He's my wide receiver 1. He consistently gets open. He is an elite route runner. I love JSN, and I think this is a slam dunk pick here for Houston.
I love it. That's an awesome pick. And I kind of knew where you were going before you even finished talking. I was already highlighting that name because it just makes so much sense to put him there for sure. I love that pick. All right, let's get to the 113. Courtney, you got the New York Jets. You're on mute, Courtney.
Sorry. I'm trying not to, be too loud and cut out everybody off, so have me on mute. So, all right. So is Rodgers playing for them or not? Like, that's the big question, right? Like, who's going to be under center, right? Keep drafting Buckeyes. Jamie, I don't know who else I can draft off the Buckeyes. I'm going to go with somebody else, though. So I think that whoever's under center, if it's Rodgers or, right, who's it going to be? They need help on that offensive line. And I know that I just went offensive line from my other team, but I'm going here and I'm going with I'm going to butcher his last name, but I'm going with Peter Skoronsky out of Northwestern.
I like it. I think you said it, at least from what I've heard, you said it correctly.
Yeah, he's smart. He's big. He's athletic. He's got strong hands. He blocks. So I think he would be good if it is Rodgers. That way we can get it out to Garrett Wilson and we can actually make some things happen there for the Jets, They got some good pieces there, and if Rodgers actually comes and plays, then I think that he needs to be protected.
Good stuff. Tim, I want to ask you real quick before we move on to our next pick. I know you kind of listen to the draft stuff a lot. What do you think so far of the of this first little quarter of the draft here? What are your thoughts overall?
Yeah, I mean, obviously we talked about the quarterbacks, right? Those can go. You can kind of mix around the order there, but I like a lot of the other picks. I think that they're. The Lions one, I think Devin Witherspoon is a great pick. I think that we talked about it at the time. He really fits in with that pick or that team. And and obviously if the Texans have a shot at Njigba, I think they're going to do it.
Yeah, good stuff. All right, we are up to the
that one really hurt though because I really wanted him to the Packers.
Yeah, Packers are taking a receiver in the first round. They haven't done so in forever.
No, I meant Skoronsky, not.
Oh, okay, Skoronsky. I got you. I thought you meant JSN. All right, Cassie, you're up at the 114, and it is the New England Patriots.
This one, well, both my top picks were sniped in Devin Witherspoon and Broderick Jones. And this is going to hurt my soul because I really want the Steelers to draft him, but I think that they're going to go with a cornerback if those two guys are taken. And oh, God. Let's go with Joey Porter Jr. from Penn State.
I knew you. I already had it highlighted. I knew that's where you were going.
To be fair, Kathy, every Patriot fan says that every single time a New England player gets drafted. This is going to hurt my soul. Rip Bill Belichick,
Well, it's hurting my soul because I want the Steelers to draft him.
Yeah, I think I even saw that on your Twitter. I think that you were saying something about Joey Porter Jr. needs to land with the Steelers.
Yes, I will cry if he doesn't. I will be crying on draft day.
Good stuff. All right, we are up to the 115. So in years past, I tried to get the rankers, the panel members, to draft for their particular teams. This was the first year that I didn't, only because it was easier to do. But Tim, you just happened to fall in the right place here. You got the 115, the Green Bay Packers.
Well, yeah, I already mentioned that I was really hoping to get Skoronsky. If that doesn't work out, I'm going to, maybe not too surprising, but I'm going to go with Michael Mayer, tight end out of Notre Dame. I think, like many tight ends, he started off as a basketball player, 5-star recruit out of high school, runs a 4.7 40. I mean, he's one of the best tight end prospects to come out in a long time. And he's really that complete tight end, right? He can block. He's not a great blocker, but I think he'll improve there. He runs the full route tree. Big thing for Green Bay is he was rarely penalized. I think I saw like one penalty last year. So, and then obviously strong hands is a given, right? This guy goes up. If he gets his hands on the ball, he's coming down with it. So I think, maybe they won't take a receiver in the first round, but they will take a tight end.
So I brought this up on one of our podcasts, and I'll just kind of mention this real quick. So when Russell Wilson was there with Seattle, every year we said they need to draft offensive linemen, and they never did. And then the year that Russell Wilson left the Seahawks and went to the Broncos, they drafted 2 offensive linemen that very next year. I think it would be absolutely hilarious that if Rodgers leaves the Packers, they get a first-round wide receiver after not drafting one for his entire career there.
Oh yeah, I think it's entirely likely. But the Packers, I think they're usually going to take best player available in this opportunity. I think if he fits with them, I think that's a great piece for them moving forward. We know how young quarterbacks like their tight end. All indications are going to be it's Jordan Love moving forward, and he's going to need a safety blanket based on what I've seen so far.
Yeah, agreed. Good stuff. All right, we're at the 116. And Gerson, you got the Washington Commanders, who will have a new owner by this time.
I thought they already do, but I mean, it's an exciting time for the Washington Commanders. I still actually call them the Washington football team somehow. So, but this is going to be a hard one because I just got sniped with Michael Mayer. I want them to take a tight end, but I just can't see with Dalton Kincaid back issues being a problem. Medical report came back that he was clean. I thought they would go tight end, but I think they're just going to go best player available right now. And that best player available, with some shock that he's still here, is Christian Gonzalez, an Oregon cornerback. It's not one of the biggest needs, but I think they'll just go best player available and get him on defense. That value right there, that 16th overall, and I have him probably top 10 player for sure locked in. It's just a great value.
Yeah, that's a good pick there, and I think the Commanders would be happy with that pick, cornerback. Because you're right. I mean, he has slipped a little bit in this draft, and at 17, that's an awesome pick to have. I think the Commanders, the fans, want them to get one of those quarterbacks, but I just don't see that happening. I don't see them moving up to get a quarterback, and I don't see them getting a quarterback here at 17. So if they're staying where they're at, I think that's a great pick at the 17 there. All right, we're up to the Pittsburgh Steelers. And Ryan, you are on the clock.
With Christian Gonzalez going right before the Steelers' entire front office just jumped out the window because they're so upset. But they have two huge areas of needs, and being the top three corners are gone, I'm going to go offensive line here and take Darnell Wright. He is just a big people mover who is going to protect their young franchise quarterback.
Do you think they'll trade that?
I mean, they could. I mean, if Darnell Wright's the best tackle, they probably would. But I mean, that line was atrocious. Like you have to do it. You have to take a lineman. With how fast they're going, you might just have to take it here. Even though I agree, they should trade back, but I'm going with that.
Hey, Skip, I want to go to you real quick on this. From a fantasy point of view, with a few offensive players that we've taken so far in this draft, how are you liking the landing spots?
I think it makes a lot of sense where everybody went. I mean, every time an offensive player was taken, I'm over here just kind of nodding like, yep, that makes good sense. I mean, even Michael Mayer at Green Bay, I think that's a great addition unfortunately for Green Bay, since I'm a Vikings fan. But the quarterbacks are all going to go, I think, where they did, if not sooner. JSN's the number one wide receiver. Obviously, I love that play, and he's going to get just constant targets. So, yeah, I mean, this is a fantastic draft from a fantasy perspective, I think, so far as well.
I agree 100%. I think that all the spots really make sense.
Hey, Jeff, let me take Skip down memory lane a little bit. A few years ago when we did the draft, and I drafted one Justin Jefferson to the Green Bay Packers. And I said, there's no way if he gets close that they're going to let him go. And then he ended up going to the Vikings, and I have to deal with that every year. So I want to hear about how you don't want something to go to the Packers, man.
Yeah, if they
that
they
one
only
crushes my soul every time.
They'd only listen to you. All
They
right,
needed Jordan Love because they knew he was the future.
Yeah, exactly. All right, we're at the 118. And Skip, you are on the clock here with the Detroit Lions.
Yeah, I'm here with Detroit again, and I'm going to stick with defense once again because that is the side of the ball that is their arch nemesis right now. And I'm going to go with defensive lineman from Clemson, Brian Bruzzi. He is a rare athlete with dominant flashes. He's got elite potential, and I think that's the kind of guy that Detroit's looking for to really add some athleticism to that defense. So they're gonna keep making some good picks, unfortunately, for those of us that root for other teams in the North.
Yeah, those Lions, they look good. I tell you what. I mean, in that the suspension aside that they just got with a couple of their guys, but I think that team looks like it's on the way up. That's for sure.
They have the most bets to win the Super Bowl, and it's like plus 4,000 or something like that. And
Wow.
it's like they have Vegas said it's like almost a record like they've had over all these past years that the most bets have been in for a Super Bowl win.
Wow. That would be something for the Lions to win the Super Bowl after all these years, especially with Jared Goff at quarterback.
Oh, it's Super Bowl champ Jared Goff. He's already done it once. He can do it again.
Yeah.
He did win one.
All right, we're at the 119.
All righty. Here we go. Okay. I guess I went back and forth on this one a lot because I think that Tampa Bay needs help on both sides of the ball. And of course they need a quarterback. Do we really think that Trask is the future there? But let's go with, once again, I'm gonna go with offensive side of the ball because last year Baker got sacked 22 times between his two teams, right? And if he's gonna get a chance to get the ball out there to Godwin and to Evans, then they need somebody there, right? So I'm gonna go with Darnell Wright, right tackle out of Tennessee. Last year he had 0 sacks, 5 hurries, and 2 quarterback hits. He's a big boy, so that's who I'm going with.
I think he was already drafted, and I apologize.
What?
I'm behind on crossing him off there. I apologize, but yeah, he was drafted.
Oh no, really?
Yeah, he was taken.
Man!
Pittsburgh.
All right, fine. Then I'll switch to the defensive side of the ball. I gave you a whole spill about offense. Now I'm going to go with that dead gummit. All right, I'm going to take Miles Murphy then, defensive end out of Clemson.
Good stuff. Yeah, I'm trying to keep up with y'all, but y'all are going faster than I can.
Darn it! I'm so sorry, you guys. That's embarrassing. I apologize.
All good.
Oh, you're good.
It's all good.
He's a big boy, though. I mean, Darnell Wright's going to be good. He's fun. All right, I'll go for defense there then.
All right, we are up to the 120, and it is Seattle. And Cassie, you are on the clock.
I'm so happy that Miles Murphy just went because that makes my decision a little easier. I think that they are going to – this one was hard for me too, this pick for Seattle, but I think they're going to – if they get a quarterback with their first pick, is that what happened?
Mm-hmm.
No.
Oh wait, no,
Seattle,
they took an edge.
They took edge rusher.
Oh, they took Tyree. Huh. Okay. Gosh darn it!
I messed you up. I'm sorry.
I think Ryan talked about quarterback there, but I don't think he actually took the quarterback.
Yeah, I yammer a lot. My bad.
Threw her off.
To be fair, at this time of the draft, it gets tricky because there's a lot of value and there's a lot of players you can reach for because of positional value, of what you want for the team. So I think, it's getting very tough.
100%. So while Cassie gets her thoughts together, let me go to you, Ryan, and just kind of ask you your thoughts so far on the draft and what you see so far.
Big thing is obviously the receivers have been following in this draft, but everything's pretty kind of how expected. I think there's one guy who's borderline top 10 player who's still on the board, but other than that, I think it's kind of pretty normal for us.
I know that guy. I think I know that guy.
Who do you think it is, Gerson? Who do you think Ryan's talking about?
It's Nolan Smith. He has the best combine numbers for linebacker.
Lied. Two players. Then.
He's like, he's so versatile. And the thing is about him, I think Nolan Smith there's 3 players in this draft that I think have that ceiling and floor, so it can be so crazy, this way and this way. And Nolan Smith is one of those players. Nolan Smith, Tyree Wilson too, and then Anthony Richardson. Those are the 3 players I'm looking at that are still either drafted or on here that just can either fall or get drafted very highly. You guys, Ryan might think otherwise. I don't know.
No, I love Nolan Smith. There's one other guy who I have a little higher than him, but I like Nolan Smith a lot. He's really good.
I do too. I just don't know if they would take 2 edges with their both of their first round draft
Yeah.
picks. I would. I don't think I'm not them. Oh God.
So where do you want to go here, Cassie?
Should I just do eeny, meeny, miny, mo? All right, let's go with man.
You want me to help you out?
Should I do eeny, meeny, miny, mo between Osiris Torrance or a wide receiver? Does anyone want to trade this pick? Giants. Who has the Giants? Do you want to trade this pick?
Just go with your gut.
Oh man. All right.
Cassie's a
let's go
trading
with,
fool.
I know. Let's go with Osiris Torrance because that is the first thing that came out of my mouth.
All right, let's do that.
I don't know if I like it, but we'll do it.
All right, let's go ahead and get to the next pick while I find that name. It's Tim at the 21.
Guard for Florida.
You got the LA Chargers, Tim.
So this is really tough because I did not expect Nolan Smith to be on the board here. I don't think that if that happens that he falls to the Chargers, so it's going to be tough for me to take him here. And I've kind of had this guy locked in all day to go to the Chargers, so I'm just going to stick with it. And that's Jordan Addison, wide receiver out of USC.
Great.
Right. So last year we know entirely too much about the Chargers receivers because both Mike Williams and Keenan Allen struggled to stay healthy. How many times in DFS did we say play Joshua Palmer last year? Yeah, like I said, he's a local guy. They brought him in for a 30 visit, outstanding quickness, good footwork. He's got not ideal speed. He had a 4.49 40, which may push him down the draft board a little bit, but this guy is a great wide receiver, incredibly hard to cover. And for bonus, he can also play punt return.
That's good stuff. Yeah, we've talked about this on the show a lot, me and Ryan, that he's probably one of the safest receivers on the board. He's just solid all around. I think the mock draft that we did this past Wednesday, Addison fell to Minnesota, which we like that pick as well. But the Chargers are also another great place to land for him for sure. All right, we are up to the 22nd pick. And Gerson, you were on.
No one Smith. Easy. That has Baltimore Raven written all over it.
It does, man. It absolutely does.
Yeah, I would take my pants off on draft day if that happened.
If I could run up to the podium, I would, and I would be like, Ryan, I did it.
No.
That's a great pick there. I mean, obviously, it goes without saying. You've already talked a little bit about him, and the Ravens, of course, love their defensive players, so that would be an awesome pick there. All right, what are we at? The 23rd. And Ryan, you get to pick for Skip's Minnesota Vikings here.
Skip, I so want to take a wide receiver here because I think a number 2 wide receiver is necessary. But Lucas Van Ness knows how to get after the quarterback, man. He is pure pressure all the time. Motor doesn't stop. He's big, he's physical, he's explosive. He's everything you want, and he's still just learning from some of those other edges like Daniel Hunter is just going to help, man. Him, Marcus Davenport, Hunter all getting after the quarterback. That's nightmare sauce.
Good stuff. Skip, I'm curious to your thoughts on that pick.
It's interesting because I thought for sure you're going to jump all over Zay Flowers, and I was going to be like, yeah, I like that. And instead, you went with the guy that I was going to take with my next pick. So you found a way to hit me twice there. Nice little combination, Ryan. But no, I would not be upset if the Vikings went defense. Everyone keeps talking wide receiver, and I get it, and it would make sense. But
it's so deep.
That defense was so bad. I'm pretty sure we are solely responsible for getting Daniel Jones a contract extension in New York after that playoff performance. So yeah, I can't fault this. Anytime you can
day
rush the
2
passer
wide
better,
receivers are
that's
fine.
good.
Yeah,
exactly.
And it's
exactly.
a deep class as well. I think this class you can get a good person, a good
Edge
receiver.
is deep.
Yeah. All right, we are at the 24th pick. And it is the Jacksonville Jaguars. And Skip, this is you.
Jacksonville needs defense. I'm going to go with defensive lineman out of Pittsburgh, Kalijah Cansey. I believe that's how it's pronounced. Forgive me if I mispronounce that last name. He's a gifted and technically advanced athlete. He could become one of the league's best interior pass rushers, and I think that's a good person to put on Jacksonville's D-line.
Good stuff. All right. Anybody see that number on there? What number he's at? Oh, there he is. I see him.
He's right in front of you, Jeff.
Yeah, got him right there.
No, but I will say that since I sniped Gerson earlier, I had to give him a nice easy pick at 22.
Yeah, well, you sniped my pick twice. I don't know what you're talking about, but okay.
That's perfect. I love it. Courtney, I want to go to you real quick just to get your overall thoughts on the draft so far. Has there been any surprises that stood out to you, or anything that you like from a perspective of fantasy?
Yeah, I absolutely love Addison going to the Chargers. I love that. Absolutely love that, because I think that's huge. I mean, Herbert needs stability, young gun there. I mean, we're not those. Allen's not a spring chicken, so I think that's a great pick. And let's go right back up to Bijan. Let's go back up to Bijan there. I think is this going to be where all the great, top players go to die because Arthur Smith can't get his shit together?
Yeah, let's hope that's not the case, because I definitely own some Pitts in some of my leagues, and I definitely own some Drake London as well. And so far,
they did set a record last year for number of rushes, so I think they
I know.
plenty of work.
Yeah,
Tyler Algier was great last year, but still, it just kills me because he's got such potential with that team. I hate saying that for NFC South love, but come on, man.
All right, let's get to the 25th pick. So typically I don't make picks, but because of the Miami Dolphins sort of losing their draft pick, there's only 31 picks this year, so we couldn't get an even number. So I had to make one pick, and the one pick that I did take was the New York Giants, because I thought it would be the easiest pick to make, and I still think it is the easiest pick to make, and it's wide receiver Quentin Johnson. We talked about this, me and Ryan, on the podcast last week, that they have a whole team full of slot receivers. I mean, every single one of them are like these small, quick guys. And Quentin Johnson steps in there, and he's 6'2", 6'3". He obviously becomes the alpha dog there. And as much as I don't love him in fantasy, I think he's a big receiver that plays small. I do think the Giants will try to use him in that alpha role. And basically, they've already got small receivers. Now they got a big guy that plays small. So let's see how that works out for them. But I'll take Quentin Johnson.
I was going to say they just got rid of Kenny Galladay, so. Just kind of trading them out.
Oh, the disrespect.
Oh, ouch. That's a good comp though. I kind of like it because he is kind of that kind of guy where he kind of played small there in New York. All right, we are moving right along. We are up to the 26th pick. And Courtney, you got the Dallas Cowboys here.
Boo, Cowboys. Ew. Okay, so I know that I see in the chat there that Brian Dodds is asking if we're going to go with the Zay Flowers. We are not going with Mr. Zay Flowers. This rumor's been going around, and I like it. I actually like – let's make sure he hasn't been picked yet. Oh, my gosh. Hold on. Hold on. Let me look.
Bijan Robinson is gone. You can't draft him.
Okay, I'm not getting Bijan. Okay, so I actually like this pick over the first one that went. He is my tight end one, and I'm going with Dalton Kincaid. Nice. I know that they need a lot of help. I know they need cornerback help, but I want Dalton Kincaid here. I like him. Man. I think that losing Schultz in free agency, Ferguson is not the answer there, and I think that they. Schultz? Huh?
He's not there no more.
He's not there no more. He went to Houston. That's an in-state rival, right? So
Peyton Hendershot.
I don't like Hendershot or Ferguson there. I like it to be Dalton Kincaid. So I think they take Dalton Kincaid there. I think Dak wants himself another big boy to be able to throw to, and so I like it. I like Kincaid there. Come on, Jamie. It could happen.
Ryan, I'm so disappointed in you. You've done 30 fantasy football off-season podcasts, and You still don't know the Broncos is not on the Cowboys. That's sad, dude.
I'm anti-tight ends on all podcasts. Have you not realized this?
Yeah, we don't talk tight ends.
Jeff doesn't allow us to talk about tight ends.
Oh my God.
Well, I'm talking. I love Dalton Kincaid.
The whole Cincinnati Bengals front office just jumped out the window because I was really hoping he'd make it to 28.
Yeah, I was just going to ask you, Tim, your reaction there. Who you thought you're getting him at Cincinnati? You thought that's where he?
Yes, I did. He was supposed to be.
Too bad. I'm taking him.
Great pick. Great pick.
All right, we are up to the 27th pick. And it is the Buffalo Bills. And Cassie, you are on the clock.
I had kind of a hard time with this one too, just because I didn't really feel like Buffalo had like a huge need for a lot of things. But with Tremaine Edmonds gone and with Von Miller like recovering from his ACL and stuff, I think that the best move for Buffalo would be to get a linebacker here, and we're gonna go with Drew Sanders, linebacker from Arkansas.
Good stuff. I like that pick a lot. Yeah, when I was doing the sort of picking my pick here, I was kind of in that range where I wanted to see who I wanted to draft for. I looked at Buffalo and I was like, I have no idea what they would really want here. So that's why I didn't take Buffalo and went with the Giants instead.
I mean, I would love for them to get a wide receiver too, but like with Jordan Addison gone, Quentin Johnson gone, yeah, let's go Drew.
Good stuff. All right, we're at the 28th. Tim, you missed out on your tight end here. Are you still going tight end, or are you going a different direction here?
No, I'm going to go a different direction. At this point, I think most of the guys I really liked are gone. And we talked earlier about first-round grades. And I think that there's one guy left that we've talked about a little bit that still has a first-round grade. I don't really see this happening in terms of trying to predict it correctly. But just for the fun of this draft, I'm going to have Cincinnati adding another weapon, and they're going to take Zay Flowers. So they're going to have already best wide receiver core in the league. They're going to upgrade it even further. And at this point, they just absolutely run over everybody. So
I like it. And with the rumors that they might trade T. Higgins and all those
Higgins,
kind of things. Yeah.
It makes that decision easier, I think.
As a Ravens fan, that's terrible. I hate it so much. If that happens, I'm crying on draft night.
Yeah, good call. I like that. I like the pivot from the tight end going to the receiver position. Just give him more weapons to deal with. I love it.
Yeah.
All right, we are up to pick number 29. Gerson, you were on the clock here with the New Orleans Saints.
You know, man, you gave me a lot of boring ass team, man.
Careful.
None of them had like. Hold on. When I say boring ass team, I mean for like fantasy football. Like I at least want to like get fantasy football. Like I like the New Orleans thing. I hope Derek Carr does great there. But I think they're gonna go defense. I think they're gonna go Deontay Bank. I mean, this guy, he has the dog in him. He said, "I'm the best defensive back in this whole class," and I'm like, "Damn, dude! Like really?" And then when I looked up at his film and stuff, he's just an athlete. Like he's a very good playmaker. I'm excited for him. I think New Orleans drafting him will only improve their defense. Their offense will be okay. I think the offense will be okay. When Kamara comes back from whatever suspension, however long that is, that offense would be just fine. But the defense needs some work. Hopefully, we see what's going on. We'll see what's going on there. That division is very easy. It can go any way, you know. I think the Saints and Tampa Bay will take a step back. The Saints are still one of the top teams there. And then the not Jacksonville Jaguars. What's their name? The Atlanta Falcons on the rise up, I guess, with the offseason that they had. But that division is, you know, anybody can win it. But I like New Orleans Saints to go defensive back, Deontay Bank out of Maryland.
Nice. I like it. I've seen Zay Flowers go to the Saints in a couple mock drafts. If Zay Flowers was on the clock, Gerson, do you think you would have gone him with the Saints pick, or do you think you still would have gone Banks?
I still would have gone Banks because I just can't see New Orleans drafting a wide receiver like Zay Flowers. I mean, they have Olave. They just reconstructed what's his name? Michael Thomas contract. And they got Slant Boy, and then they got Rashid Shaheed. I think honestly, I would have had them taken Dalton Kincaid or a tight end before a wide receiver. Like, I think they're going to move on from Adam Troutman. I was hoping that Kincaid was falling down, but again, I got sniped, so yeah.
Jeff, I don't know if you can see here. I'm trying to do it. It's a Spider-Man meme because Deontay Banks reminds me so much of Marshawn Lattimore.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like they're going to walk into the room together and be like, because like you said, they're both kind of smaller guys, but they play super physical. Sometimes they lose their head a little bit, but you see the talent. Like, I swear they're the same dude.
They have a dog in them, dude.
He's small state Marshawn Lattimore or small school. Yeah. You know what I mean?
I like
that's
it.
Yeah,
I like
Banks,
it.
Banks
Jamie
is one
had
of those
a
guys
question
I'd
in
love to see
the
Minnesota.
chat. I'm sorry, what was that, Skip?
I was gonna say Banks is one of those guys that if the Vikings took him at 23, I would not be disappointed. I'd be very pleased with that pick.
Good stuff.
Yeah. The Vikings, I'm gonna be honest, man. The Vikings need some dogs, honestly. So he's a dog.
Good stuff. Ryan,
Not that I want
Jamie
them to.
wanted to
I'm
ask.
just saying, like my opinion.
They need Jared Good, the dog.
Jared Good.
Yes.
Yeah, Jamie's asking if Ryan has the Kansas City pick because Ryan loves Jalen Hyatt. Unfortunately, he does not have the Kansas City pick. He was off by one pick.
And I wouldn't make that pick for them either, honestly. I think he's redundant.
Second round.
No, I just think he's redundant. I think he's redundant for that offense.
Fair.
I hate to break Ryan Hyatt.
Huh?
I hate to break Ryan Hyatt, but this Jalen Hyatt thing, he's not getting drafted first round, second round. He's getting drafted in the third round, dude.
Third round, okay. We can bet on that, Gerson.
Oh, I'm down.
Third round, he'll go well before that. We can make that all day, any day.
I see him as one of those day two trade up kind of guys where you see some team like scoot up the draft board and you're like, oh, they're going to snag that guy.
They're going to get him.
There's another guy I feel like that, but we'll talk about it here in a second if he doesn't get drafted.
Good stuff. All right, Ryan, you are on the clock. And you have the Eagles. Where are the Eagles going here?
So one of my favorite defensive backs is still on the board here, and I just can't do it because I just want to make this a little fun for fantasy football, and it is a need for them. And Jahmyr Gibbs, adding that explosion to their already explosive offense would just be fun and just adding to his strength. He'd take Miles Sanders' spot, adds a burst that he didn't have. They'd better open up the passing game to the running back position if that happens. But, man, it'd be a lot of fun, him in that offense.
That would be a lot of fun. Absolutely. With Miles Sanders gone, Gainwell, I don't think is the answer there, obviously.
And Rashad Penny will give you 3 good games.
Yeah.
Maybe 4.
Maybe.
Dude, I swear this is like Najee Harris 2.0, where you can like pencil it in. If he's there, it's just a lock that he's going to Philly.
Yeah. Ryan, real quick, there's a question from Brian in here, and I'm going to direct it to you because I know you like both of these guys. Do you think Tillman goes before Hyatt in the NFL draft?
Honestly, I'm copping out. I'm saying I think it can go either way with that. I think each one's like a specific need for a team, like between like a true possession receiver and somebody taking the top off of defense. And he just kind of goes how the draft board goes. It could go either way. Neither would surprise me.
Good stuff. And Mike, the Chiefs fan, drop the Mike FF is in here. He's the Chiefs fan. So we are up to the Chiefs pick here. And Skip closes out here. Who are the Chiefs taking?
I would have jumped all over Zay Flowers if he'd have made it, but he did not. I am not much of a Jalen Hyatt guy, so I'm not going that route. I'm not going to see them reach for a wide receiver. Instead, they'll go with one of the better players on the board that's left, and that's Isaiah Foskey, an edge from Notre Dame. Excellent athlete, strong against the run, has a promising future as a pass rusher. So going with Foskey.
Good stuff. Mike, if you're still listening, Mike, I want your thoughts here. Give me your thoughts on what you think of as the edge rusher there with the last pick in the first round. And while we're waiting for him to get his response back, I want to go to, let's see, who haven't gone to yet. Gerson, I'm going to go to you. Give me your thoughts overall on the draft so far, fantasy-wise and for the NFL.
Well, I think the biggest thing of this whole show, like the whole thing, is that Gerson hasn't dropped one F-bomb. So
that's actually impressive.
Very impressive.
No, very impressive.
Yeah. But I think I love the way the quarterback landed. And, like, I keep saying it to myself, I am a big Anthony Richardson fan for fantasy football, I have him number 1 overall as a fantasy football, like, you know, in the ranking. But it's so hard in real life to compare to like fantasy football, you know, like. But I love the way the quarterback went. I saw the biggest value I saw was Nolan Smith
That was
at number
incredible,
22 to the Baltimore Ravens. And we all know this. Every year we do this. Oh my goodness, the Baltimore Ravens got the best value of the draft. Like, they always land the draft. They always do great.
Yeah.
I think it gets very tricky in the middle. I was very surprised by Cassie's pick on Osiris Terrence. I thought she was going to go wide receiver, and she threw a curveball at me. And then Jordan Addison went to the Charger. If Jordan Addison goes to the Charger, he's going to immediately be the number 2 wide receiver right behind Jaxon Smith-Njigba. The Jahmyr Gibb call to the Philadelphia Eagles, I don't mind it, but I'm not excited. The reason why is he's a good pass catching running back, but he can also run the ball pretty well. But we know the quarterback that run don't throw to the the ball to the running back. It's proven. I mean, it just doesn't fall into their hand.
Yeah, their version of a check down is just run it. Like, why am I going to check it down to this guy when I can just do the same thing, basically?
Exactly. And they're just going to run it. I mean, it'd be exciting, right, for the Philadelphia Eagles to get a monster offensive lineman and get a running back. I mean, but it just – I think I'm really wrong on like the Eagles. The Eagles are one of those teams, like, they have the luxury to do this, you know. They traded with the Saints last year, so they can go in so many directions. But this draft went very, like – it got very how do you call it when it's very accurate, like – predictable.
Chalk.
Very chalk in like the first 14 picks, 13 picks. But then after that, it got really wild. But I love everybody's pick. There's some that I like Zay Flower. I'm looking at you, man. That was a crazy call, Tim. Cincinnati, like, I can see it, but it's more because they're going to franchise T. Higgins and they're going to move on from him, you know?
Yep.
But we'll see, man. This draft has gone excellent for fantasy. I don't know for teams need, because there's some positions, like a lot of us draft for value. And I think the NFL have trended more to, I'm going to draft for need more than value, you know?
Yeah.
We've seen a lot of teams just surprise the hell out of us. As a Raiders fan, I hate it because the Raiders just draft the crappiest players, you know? And
the Raiders gave the Armchair Fantasy Show one of the best moments when we did our live draft show, and Gerson had come on earlier in the show. I don't think he was on when the Raiders made their pick, and then Gerson came back on the show just to complain about the pick that the Raiders made.
Who was it? It was a lineman.
Right.
It was a lineman, wasn't it?
Yeah, I can't remember who it was.
It was Alex Leatherwood.
Leatherwood, yeah.
Yeah.
He was just trash. Like, how do you draft? And I remember Ryan, because, like, I just remember, gee, he's okay. He's a second round grade tackle. I'm like, dude, he's trash, man. He's just trash. And, like, I mean, as a Raiders fan, I just lost hope. Like, when people tell me, oh, I've been a Jets fan. I'm like, dude, I've been a Raiders fan, dude. I haven't seen the Raiders win, like, the last time I was excited about the Raiders when they were in the Super Bowl, and I was in the 6th grade trying to get, like, I don't know. It's like,
which is more recent than the Jets, though.
Fair, yeah, it is.
But no,
Jets have been decent for a couple years there, but yeah, nothing like that.
The Jets had Rex Ryan. They were making it to the
They were beating Brady there for a little bit.
Yeah,
good stuff. Kathy, I haven't gotten your thoughts yet on the draft overall, just from the NFL perspective and from fantasy too, because I know you're a big fantasy person.
Yeah, I think that everyone I thought that would go in the first round went in just a different order than I kind of thought. But like all of the big names and all of the really talented first round caliber people went in. That was a lot of pressure. I felt like I had no time at all to like think and on the spot. And so thanks everyone for bearing with me when I had a mini stroke and my brain decided to stop working.
You did awesome. You did awesome. Like, to be honest, just imagine real life NFL. Like, there's only one team that had like legit messed that up, and that's the Minnesota Vikings. They
2 years in a row, I think, right?
Is.
Oh my God, yes.
Here we go.
Sorry, Skip.
Oh,
least they
sorry,
took a good
Skip. I
player.
forgot you were a Viking fan. My bad, dog.
So yeah, I'll agree here. I think my Zay Flowers pick was meant to be fun. It was definitely a curveball. I was really hoping that Kincaid would make it that far. But one name I think to keep an eye on to Kansas City at 31 is Will McDonald. This is a guy I've seen a lot of people projecting to go at the end of the first round. Obviously, edge rusher out of Iowa State. I know that they've already brought him in for a visit, and I see a lot of people. He was that guy that I mentioned earlier. If he doesn't go in the first round, I think we see somebody trade up to get him first 10 picks of the second round.
Good stuff. Ryan, is there anybody on the sheet still that did not go that you think either could be a first round or should have been a first round pick?
Brian Branch and Cam Smith, I think, are both first round DBs. I think they'll slip in somewhere. Like, for me, like the Nolan Smith for the Ravens was awesome, but that's one of the things I don't see happening, even though it could because things do fall. But Cam Smith's like on that short list of guys I'd take there and be adequately happy. And Brian Branch, he's got to fit somewhere. It's just finding a team that knows how to use him, but he has that first round talent.
Good stuff. Courtney, what are your thoughts? And I want your thoughts on that pick too from the Saints with the cornerback that Gerson drafted for you.
So I actually love that pick because I agree with you, G. I think he's awesome, but I actually think that they might stick. The Saints kind of really like those homegrown players, and Emmanuel Forbes out of Mississippi State, which is one of the other cornerbacks that's up. I could see them taking him just because he's a powerhouse too, and he's homegrown, right? He's right next door from Mississippi. He grew up in Grenada, Mississippi. So I could see that. But I do like the pick. I do like it a lot. Overall, I agree with everybody. I'm not a big fan of the Cincinnati pick, but again, I do I liked all the ones that we did so far, and I really, really hope that CJ Stroud goes first. I really do.
I will say I like the Cincinnati pick. I'm all four teams making strength stronger. Like the Bengals live and die by the pass. Why not have the most explosive weapons you have? Especially like you said, T. Higgins isn't a guarantee to be there. And when you have a quarterback on a mega deal or soon to be mega deal, you need guys on rookie contracts, especially playmakers when wide receiver costs so much. It makes sense.
Yeah,
I think she hit exactly what I think would happen in that scenario, which is they franchise tag him, keep him for 1 year, let him develop, and then say, "See ya."
Yeah,
we got our next guy.
Yeah.
I think that if Dalton falls there, they'll grab Dalton because they need a tight end. So I think
I think they're praying for.
I mean, I think I screwed you, but I think that's the better pick for sure.
Yep.
Yeah.
That was what I was hoping for.
Yeah, tight end definitely makes sense for them for sure, and I think.
But Addison to the Chargers is definitely my pick of the draft.
I love that pick.
Yeah,
we know they're going wide receiver first round. It's just going to be which one falls to them. But I love that pick. I love it. I love it.
If I were to parlay a bet, it'd definitely be Chargers, Giants, and just make a number one Bryce Young.
I think rotate the wide receivers.
Mm-hmm.
and then
Bryce Young's minus 1,100 one overall.
That
ain't doing shit for your parlay.
So I wanted to make a bold call on a first round pick that's gonna go in the first round, and it's just a bold call. It's not like, oh, I think it's gonna happen. I think Jonathan Mingo out of Ole Miss is going to go in the first round.
Yeah, I've heard a lot about him on Twitter recently. I had to actually go back and watch his film again.
So,
he is amazing. He is going to be a steal. Cassie, plug your ears because I want him in our league. But I love him. Like he is an amazing wide receiver, and I think that he is very, very, very undervalued and overlooked. And I agree with you, G. Whoever gets him is getting a surefire winner for real.
I just think that everybody's going to look at this draft at the wide receiver. A lot of undersized wide receiver, and one team is either going to trade up in that late round pick, 28th to 31st overall, because the Miami Dolphins are idiots. And they're going to say, we need that big size wide receiver. There's not a lot of big size guys. Mingo is fast, strong, big hand. And while he's not one of those wide receivers that can really separate well and like just basically, just he's not like everybody says AJ Brown. I don't see AJ Brown. I don't see DK Metcalf. I see more of a Dwayne Bowe type of player.
Yeah.
He's not like overly power strong and fast like DK and AJ Brown. But I think Mingo, he's not going to be that elite fantasy player, but I can see just a bold prediction. He can go in the first round. And probably next year we're just going to laugh about this. He got drafted in the 5th round.
I love it. Hotty toddy. I love it.
The internet never forgets.
All right, everybody, that wraps up the podcast. We'll go around the room real quick. Just give everybody that's still watching the show or listening to on the audio where they can follow you on Twitter. We'll just go clockwise here. We'll start with you, Ryan.
Find me on Twitter, Fox534. Find me on Going for Two Wednesday nights. Find me over at the Rookie Big Board on the Dynasty Big Board podcast on Wednesday mornings.
Stuff. And Skip.
Hey, I'm Skip Newton at Skip Newton 31 on Twitter, part of the Rookie Big Board, and the Devy Big Board usually drops on Friday mornings, but this week we are taking the week off for the draft, so we'll be back in a couple weeks.
Courtney.
Y'all can find me at Love Tractor 3 on Twitter and Going for Two and Fantasy and Frames. And ladies and gentlemen, I always love this night. I love draft month, and it is just a blast. So thank you for having me. Love you all.
Absolutely. Gerson.
Yeah, you can find me at Fantasy GDFS on Twitter. You can find me on the DFS show, the Armchair Fantasy Show DFS, on Friday nights with Tim and Jeff. Hit me up on Twitter mostly, or actually we're on the Armchair DFS Roundtable.
We changed the name so many times.
Facebook. That's where I'm mostly at. I'm on Facebook. So DM me. I'm pretty much available. I'm pretty sure I'm in a lot of league with a lot of people all over the place. So yeah, hit me up on there too. But hey, Kathy, Skip, Ryan. Well, I don't care about Ryan. Courtney, and Tim. Always a pleasure, Skip, it's so crazy because I just realized that I've actually heard your voice somewhere, and I'm like, dude, I listened to a podcast and stuff. Like, I'm pretty sure I heard him somewhere. But yeah, thanks for having me back, Jeff. Awesome time, man.
Good stuff. Cassie.
Hi, you can find me on Twitter at the NFL. I post a lot of things about Pitt because I am a Pitt alum, and the Steelers, and fantasy related fun tweets. And yes, thank you so much for having me on here. This was a lot of fun doing research for my first live mock draft. So thank you.
Yeah, good stuff. Thanks for coming on. Like the way I found Cassie, like she told me she wasn't an analyst after I'd asked her to come on the podcast. She retweets and tweets out so much fancy stuff that I just assumed that she must have written for somebody or worked for a podcast or something, because everything on her Twitter feed was all fantasy stuff. She kept coming up on my feed from people retweeting her stuff. So I was like, oh, let me reach out to her. So
Jeff, get her to write for us. She's so good. Get her to write for us. Talk to her. Get her in, dude.
Good stuff.
Welcome to Going for Two Nation.
Yep, we just hired you right there, live on TV.
Come on, accept the position, Cassie.
Welcome to an unpaid job.
Tim.
Yeah, so find me on Twitter at Keto DFS. And as Gerson mentioned, during the football season, find us in the DFS Roundtable and on the DFS show right here on the Going for Two Network.
Good stuff. All right, guys, as always, you can find me on Twitter at Jeff Lambert77. And we are going to be live for all 3 days of the NFL draft. We are splitting it up by hosts on the show. Me and Ryan kick it off on Thursday night at 8 o'clock. Then the guys from the Dynasty Saturday Night 5 take over from there. I think Gladys and Jay closes out on the first night, and then we got some guys taking over night 2, and then Kyle and his crazy self, Mr. Podcast as we call him, is doing all 5 hours on Saturday by himself with a couple guys coming on to guest host. But Kyle is crazy. He'll be there for the entire 5 hours on Saturday.
Kyle's awesome.
Kyle is a beast.
I don't know how he does it. He does like 4 or 5 different shows. And then he's always in the comments on all the shows that I watch, including our shows. Like he's everywhere. I don't know how he does it. He's like,
he is the backbone Going for Two. It's Jeff holding it down, and then Kyle's right,
that
glue.
100%.
let me just put it this way. Last year, Saturday, Jared and I at his house, and he's hosting his show, and he's on one show, and then he's on another show commenting, and I'm like, I'm just trying to leave my comments on another show on my cell phone, and he's in there. I'm like, bro, we're on the same show right now. What are you doing?
That's funny. Yeah, Kyle is everywhere. All right. For Ryan, for Skip, for Tim, for Cassie, for Courtney, for Gerson, I am Jeff, and we will see y'all draft night.
Go Pack, go!